Hi guys. After the week, the logical pressured week we had with all these activations in the root and, and the judgment and the logical patterns, we are moving into a very tensed and provocative week. The cross of tension is here, guys. And let's see what's going to happen to us this week. The sun just got in a few hours ago into the gate of the provocateur, and is grounded in the gate of the fighter. What a grounding. And these two gates, the gates, individual gates from the cross of tension and the cross of upheaval. The 39 is obstruction, the provocateur. The value of obstruction in provoking analysis, assessment, and re-evaluation. And the fighter, gate 38, opposition, the ability to preserve individual integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. Now, these are the button pushers and the ship turners and the, and the revolutionaries, and they do it in a very individual way. And of course, the not self has his own way of doing things. So we are going to have a very interesting week. Before we begin to look at the whole interesting chart, let's look at all the keynotes of these two gates and the cross of tension. We are looking at tension, yeah? These people, these gates, but I'm talking now about people that have this defined in them. These people are carrying inside them this tension. They bring it out, of course, they provoke and they fight, but they also live with this tension. This is root, individual tension and pressure. And wherever they go, they just take this pressure and they put it outside, they put it in other auras. And that's why if they're not correct, the tension that they put in the other is not a tension that can empower something, just but the other way around. It's a tension that annoys, that distracts, that deals with the mundane instead of provoke the spirit and fight for one's individual principles. So they bring struggle. These gates are acoustic. The 39 is a flirting gate, an individual flirting gate. These are gates of deafness. We will talk about it soon. They bring upheaval. They are melancholy, creative. They bring empowerment when they're correct. Of course, provocation, opposition, and mutation, and of course, stubbornness. So these are the keynotes of our week, and for all the people who have their birthday this week. So I really I resonate with the cross of tension people, because these are my conscious nodes in the second line, and I'm a provocateur myself, big time, and a struggler myself, but also I see them everywhere, and I can sense provoking them. I can sense who's really is ripe and ready for this provocation of the spirit and initiation of the spirit, and who's just dealing with mundane tensions that bring them, that help them or drive them in the usual track of the not self mind. So this is very interesting to watch. Okay, so let's look step by step what's happening. The 39 and the 38 are deafness gates, And we have 3 gates of deafness, and we have in the transits all of them defined. So a lot of deafness is going to be around. The Mars is sitting in the 43rd gate, the gate of breakthrough, which is also the gate of deafness. Now, the reason that these gates are deaf are because this is the other side of the acoustic frequency of the individual circuit. These gates don't want to be influenced. Individual people don't want to be influenced from the outside. And if we're talking about provocation and struggle and stubbornness, so of course they don't want you to interfere and bring other ideas or so they are deaf. And this deafness is sometimes so beautiful to see, because actually really the individual, when it's correct, the individual frequency is really to go your own way, to be this freak that is not influenced by the collective or the tribe. And they should bring the mutation. So if you're influenced by the homogenized world, you can't bring mutation. And of course, that in the mundane and homogenized world, this deafness can be also the that of the this and that. It's not always good, quote unquote. It sometimes prevent them from listening or hearing things that can really empower them and initiate them to the next level. So this is interesting to watch. And of course, these gates are very creative and acoustic, and a lot of people with these gates have an ear for music or create music. So this is, we're going to have a week, a week of deafness. I really invite you to watch it, to see how people become deaf, how people provoke and struggle for everything. This is going to be in the not-self world. We're going to see this struggle and provocation about stupid things, not about things that can really empower us. Interesting to watch. And of course, Mars, which is immature and mutative energy, when provoked, can be really interesting. So we can watch and see what's going to happen. Then another thing that happens and enhances the energy of Mars is that Jupiter, in his retrograde, left the gate of confusion, the 64th gate in the head center, and went back one step into the 47th gate, the gate of oppression, the gate of realization in the Ajna center. And as promised, I did promise that we're going to have this channel of the abstract until the 3rd of August now. And of course, this global conditioning pattern emphasizes the energy of deafness of the 43rd gate, breakthrough, and of course, the gate of doubt that the nodes and Neptune sit there. So a lot of mental pressure that is going to sit on us for a month. So we had this channel a few months in the transits. We had 1 month of relaxation from it, and it comes back big time. So the nodes are going to be very, very strong. We are going to feel them very strong. The next thing that happens, this is interesting, the Venus is in the 53rd gate and creates with Uranus the channel of maturation, a design of balanced development. This is the format energy of the abstract collective circuit, and this is very interesting because the channel, which is defined too, which is is a global conditioning pattern too, the channel of abstract, is the mental pressure of the same circuitry. So the collective experiential energy is going to be very, very strong. And these are two pressure centers. We will see how the drive to begin with a middle and an end, to begin a cycle. As I feel, I have the 53rd in my design, and since Uranus is here, so circles are coming to an end, new circles are beginning. It's really interesting to see the cyclic frequency of this format energy. And of course, this when this channel is defined in the transits, it lights up the two gates, the two individual gates of our week. We are going to have them very strong, not only those who connect directly to them, but all of us are going to feel the fighter and the provocateur. And of course, Pluto with the driven ambition. So all of this is going to be, this channel is going to condition us until 5th of July, just a few days. And if we look at Mercury, this is going to be later, this day, later, Mercury is going to get into the 52nd gate and define for us the channel of concentration. So we are going to have these two pressure centers working on us very strongly. From the mental realm, we're going to feel confusion, oppression, and doubt, and insights and breakthrough. And from the root and the sacral, we're going to feel the provocation, the maturation, concentration, provocation, opposition, ambition. And all this is going to pressure us and pump us. And then, as a present for the 4th of July, Mercury will release us from the 52nd gate, the gate of inaction, mountain, and will join the sun in the gate of the provocation. So we are going to still feel the pressures from the down and from the up, but without gate 52nd, the 52nd gate. So this is really, really interesting how we are going to sit between these two pressure gates and pressure centers, and it's even not only a center, is two format energies and a lot of mental activations that will pressure us to decide, to do, and to share. These are collective channels here, a lot of collective energy to share, a lot of pressure to share. And what I've noticed lately, I'm watching communication between people. This is the thing that I'm watching now very carefully. And I see how the pressure to share can be so violent sometimes. Really, people take the initiative, they take the initiative to share what they see and what they feel to other people without checking the other one if they're open to hear. And this is very strong energy. And when I look at this chart, I suddenly see how this week can be so intensive for people. And I invite you to look at your chart and see, because if you're open in these centers, this is really huge. I mean, I know what that does because I'm open in these two lower centers, the sacral and in the root center. And I know a lot of people that their head and ajna are open, and a lot of people with an open root, a lot of generators with an open root. And when these pressures come, and if they connect directly to your design, it is so difficult it's very difficult not to disappear in it, not to succumb to these pressures. And it doesn't mean that they can't help us. Again, I see the transits always as something that can help, but only according to strategy and authority. And it's interesting to watch how the mind can be so tricked by all these energies and believe that this is our energy and that, yes, this is good. I can feel the pressure and imagine it was an invitation, for example, yes. So I really invite you to watch it. I think it's a real good lesson to go through this very, very pressure time, this mental pressure month that we're going to have, and this root center, root definition, root conditioning pressures that we're going to feel. And we have here a lot of pressures, and just watch what's going to happen with us. And while we invite our mind to cooperate and watch, it can become an ally and, and stop disturbing us a little. I mean, you know, it can work and it can not work, it depends. But even if we just catch ourselves a few times and feel what it does in the moment, this is a breakthrough. This is a real breakthrough. And we shouldn't forget that we have this opportunity. Our spirit is provoked this week, so let's see what's going on. One more thing I want to say before I move to some examples is that the 39th gate is a gate of eating disorders, and I really invite you to watch it. I mean, I watched it. It's if the whole channel is there, it's really it could be really, you know, eating too much or eating too little. But I've noticed that people with an open solar plexus and the 39 in a defined route or an open route, depends on the situation, can also have this emotional eating because of the inability to deal with the emotional turmoil in the open solar plexus. And if the root is open too, then, and there is one of this gate, the 55th or the 39, it can be really, really strong. And of course, if people with these centers are open and they are in compromise to somebody with this whole channel, it also can create things. I mean, I just invite you to watch it. Because I'm carrying this 39th gate, I meet a lot of 55th gate people. And I also look at this, I'm emotional, but I don't have the whole channel, and I look at this in periods of my life that I was very, very unstable emotionally and not, of course, not living with respect to my emotional wave. I also had a lot of emotional eating. So I invite you to watch it. It's really, we have here a huge opportunity to learn, a really interesting week. Wow. Yes. So when we look at all these keynotes, amazing keynotes of the cross of tension and upheaval and all this, I just have here 3 little examples of people of the cross of tension that have their birthday this week. And it's interesting to see Princess Diana. I just try to summarize in a few words what I see here. And of course, it's interesting because she doesn't have any individual channels, but the Sun Earth in a defined in a defined route are these 2 gates. So I saw this individual sexy provocation, looking for her place in the community, yes, seeking to belong, the open G, and fighting for her individuality in her collective and tribal environment through a trial and error process. And we can see that when she was very young, she was, I even chose this photo of her that you can really see the melancholic expression when she was young, and she tried to put herself in the box. And with this Sun Earth, you can't put yourself in the box. And another thing that I'm noticing about these cross of tension people, and I can actually say that about many designs that I see, but I just want to talk for a minute about individuals and provocateurs especially, these people, most of them, and I'm talking from my watching, from my seeing, most of them are so homogenized that they're trying to be nice. They're trying to be nice people. It could be an open ego, it could be an open solar plexus, or other not self issues, but they're trying to be nice. And cross of tension people are not sweet and nice. I mean, even when you look at this design, which is really interesting because no individual channels, and she is emotional, very emotional, but you can see when you look into her provoking eyes that there is this provocation is there, this individualism is there, and she didn't let it come out. She was really trying to put herself to belong, yes, to the right place and be who she fantasized she should be. And only later she didn't have the chance to live long. Maybe if we met her after her Chiron, it would be different, but she didn't have this time. By the way, I looked at the day that she was killed, the day and the hour, and very interesting, a lot of third lines in Sun Earth, third lines in the nodes, and some beautiful details that connect to her chart. Very interesting. Yeah, maybe it was too much for her. She had to go. So what I invite you, people of cross of tension and individual people, stop trying to be nice. Just look at yourself. You came here to push buttons. You came here to rock the boat. You came here to to create an upheaval. So, and this is needed. This is the way the spirit is provoked. And those people who can't stand your provocation, they are not for you, and that's the beauty. You're not here for everyone. Yesterday, I've heard Ra saying just a sentence that was so interesting. He was saying that all these individual people who were trying to be nice, they don't get it, that they're not supposed to connect with everyone. I mean, every single design has its own fractal and has its own purpose here, and we're not supposed to meet everybody and be nice to everybody. We're not supposed to be connected this way. We have the people that belong to our fractal. And as I'm talking from my personal experience with the nodes, all my 4 nodes in the root center, and everything is about pressure. I don't, and this provoking and fighters. I enjoy meeting them when they are when they really carry their own spirit and not trying to be pussycats and teddy bears. So really, cross of tension, upheaval. You're not here to be nice. Another amazing creature is the author, the German author Hermann Hesse. I really liked looking at his chart and finding out he's an emotional manifestor, so individual, so impactful, and he really provoked my spirit when I was a teenager. So he's provoking the spirit, contributes his emotional, mutative, spiritual impact to the community and grounded in its detailed logic thinking. So very, very nice to see. And the search, the spiritual search from the Open G Center combines with the spiritual profile, the 2-4, and brings the tension that really needed to provoke the spirit and give this amazing impact. Thank you. And the last one for our, if we are in this closing cycles and circles issue, so Tom Cruise, who is the man, the most famous man and the most dedicated celebrity in the Scientology church. So I just found out, if a good friend just showed me this article in the internet just a few days ago that Scientology propaganda machine is being initiated. Tom Cruise launches TV network to reach every person on earth. Now, he has a lot of money, and he's an emotional manifester, an ego emotional manifester. With the alpha, it's interesting, leadership for good or bad. So, and here I just noticed some interesting details because he's a 2-5, which is this harmonic, not involved profile. It's interesting how he, I could see both sides. On the one hand, I see the desire, the transference of the desire to contribute and to do and to lead and to be an example and all this. But on the other hand, this is the connecting with with the 39 gate in the second line in detriment, that is not meeting the obstacle but going around them. It's like, I know everything that is spoken about Scientology, but I'm not saying anything. I'm there. I'm continuing to give this provocative, mutative, collective, and tribal, impactful leadership for good or bad. So this is interesting to watch. And another little joke that I saw is that his emotionality, the pressures from the root that go to the emotional system and have no connection to the throat. So these two gates that give him the outlet, one of them is the 35th gate, which is progress and change, of course. And the other one is the 12th gate that, if you remember when we talked about Ron Hubbard, he had this gate 4 times, and in his cross, and this in the second line, it's the line of purification with that had all this that had all this huge role in the auditing process that he created. So it's interesting to see how these two people connect, and interesting to see also that both of them are triple split definition and very defined. So I think that this ego of Tom Cruise was very useful, especially with the 25th gate in the cross, was very useful for the Scientology church, and there are even rumors that he tried to get out and it didn't work, but I'm not sure about that. But there he is. He has his provocation and fightings and struggle as an example for good or bad. So that's all, folks. This is our movie for this week. I think it's really tense, and I think it's really interesting. We are going to have a lot of adventures, and I invite you to share with me, if you feel like it, what's going on with you. What do you feel? What do you see? And of course, I invite you again and again to be locked in your strategy and navigate with your inner authority and sleep alone in your aura. That's the way we can protect ourselves from all these pressures. So have fun and see you next time. Bye.